Visceral fat can be reduced and even eliminated with consistent, healthy lifestyle changes. Visceral fat is the dangerous fat that wraps around internal organs like the liver, pancreas, and intestines, and it's strongly associated with heart disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, fatty liver disease, and systemic inflammation. Unlike subcutaneous fat, which lies just under the skin, visceral fat behaves more like an active endocrine organ, releasing hormones and inflammatory molecules that disrupt metabolic function. Because it's not always visible, some people may have a normal weight and still carry harmful levels of visceral fat, a condition known as TOFI, thin outside, fat inside. The good news is that visceral fat responds relatively quickly to lifestyle changes. With consistent effort, it's one of the most reversible risk factors for chronic disease. Below are 20 evidence-based, healthy strategies that support the reduction of visceral fat without crash diets or extreme regimens. These methods support whole-body health, while specifically targeting the metabolic environment that enables visceral fat to accumulate. Following a Mediterranean-style diet is a powerful first step. This dietary pattern emphasizes extra virgin olive oil, nuts, legumes, leafy greens, fish, and whole grains, all rich in antioxidants, polyphenol, and anti-inflammatory compounds. Research has consistently shown that the Mediterranean diet improves insulin sensitivity, reduces liver fat, and lowers inflammation, all of which are mechanisms directly involved in visceral fat accumulation. The high fiber content also promotes a healthier gut microbiome, which may modulate fat storage via hormonal signaling and short-chain fatty acid production. Importantly, this diet is not restrictive, which makes long-term adherence more likely, a key factor in sustainable fat reduction. Cutting back on added sugar and refined carbohydrates is another vital move. Visceral fat thrives in the presence of high insulin levels, which are triggered by frequent intake of refined carbs like white bread, soda, pastries, and ultra-processed foods. A diet high in fructose, in particular, has been linked to increased fat deposition in the liver and abdomen. Replacing refined carbs with whole foods like sweet potatoes, brown rice, oats, and quinoa can significantly lower insulin levels, improve blood sugar regulation, and reduce fat around the organs. This doesn't mean going zero carb. It means emphasizing quality carbs that come with fiber and nutrients. Strength training and resistance exercise play a crucial role in reducing visceral fat. While cardio helps burn calories, studies show that strength training enhances muscle mass and insulin sensitivity, both of which are protective against abdominal fat gain. Even without major weight loss, strength training has been shown to reduce waist circumference and improve markers of metabolic health. This is especially important for people over 40, who begin to lose muscle mass and experience hormonal shifts that can promote fat storage. High-intensity interval training (HIIT) is another time-efficient tool. Research suggests that HIIT can reduce visceral fat more effectively than moderate-intensity exercise, even when total time spent exercising is lower. This form of training involves alternating between short bursts of intense effort and recovery periods, which increases fat oxidation and improves mitochondrial health. However, it's not for everyone. People who are sedentary or have cardiovascular conditions should consult a healthcare provider before starting high-intensity exercise. Getting consistent, high-quality sleep is often overlooked but critically important. Poor sleep increases cortisol, disrupts appetite hormones like leptin and ghrelin, and promotes insulin resistance, a perfect storm for visceral fat gain. Aim for 7 to 9 hours per night, with a consistent sleep-wake cycle. Sleep debt, irregular sleep patterns, and sleep apnea have all been linked to central fat accumulation, even in people who otherwise appear healthy. Managing stress is another non-dietary, non-exercise factor that directly impacts visceral fat. Chronic stress triggers prolonged cortisol elevation, which shifts fat storage from subcutaneous to visceral depots. Practices like mindfulness meditation, yoga, breathwork, and even spending time in nature have been shown to lower cortisol and reduce abdominal adiposity over time. While stress may feel intangible, its effects on body fat distribution are very real and well documented. Limiting alcohol intake can also make a substantial difference. Alcohol, especially in excess, increases liver fat and disrupts normal metabolic processes, promoting visceral fat storage. Even moderate consumption, such as 1 drink per day, has been associated with increased waist circumference in some populations. If complete abstinence isn't realistic, reducing frequency and choosing lower sugar options can still support visceral fat reduction. Increasing dietary fiber, particularly soluble fiber, plays a direct role in visceral fat control. Soluble fiber, found in foods like oats, flax seeds, legumes, and apples, slows digestion, regulates blood sugar, and feeds beneficial gut bacteria. Several studies have shown that increasing soluble fiber intake is independently associated with reductions in abdominal fat, even without major weight loss. A target of 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day is a good starting point for most adults. Hydration matters more than people think. Drinking enough water supports liver detoxification, digestive health, and satiety. Sometimes hunger is confused with thirst, leading to unnecessary snacking. Starting meals with a glass of water may reduce calorie intake and support digestion. Replacing sugar-sweetened beverages with water, herbal teas, or sparkling water can eliminate hundreds of empty calories per day, a simple but often overlooked fat-reducing strategy. Fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi offer probiotics that support gut health, which in turn affects fat storage. The gut microbiome influences metabolic pathways, immune function, and inflammation. Dysbiosis, or an imbalanced gut, has been linked to higher visceral fat levels. Including fermented foods regularly may help rebalance the microbiome and improve gut barrier integrity, two factors that contribute to reduced fat accumulation. Avoiding trans fats is essential. These artificial fats, found in margarine, processed snacks, and some fried foods, promote insulin resistance, systemic inflammation, and belly fat gain. Even in small quantities, trans fats are metabolically harmful and have been banned in many countries. Checking labels for partially hydrogenated oils is a simple but important step in minimizing fat-promoting foods. Intermittent fasting, if done safely, can reduce insulin levels and promote fat oxidation. Time-restricted eating, e.g., an 8-hour eating window, has been shown to reduce visceral fat in some studies, even when total calorie intake is not significantly altered. This approach works partly by giving the body a longer period to switch from glucose to fat as a fuel source. However, fasting is not appropriate for everyone. Those with a history of eating disorders, certain hormonal issues, or underweight conditions should avoid it or consult a professional. Green tea and coffee may offer modest benefits due to their catechins and polyphenol. Green tea, in particular, has been shown to slightly increase fat burning, especially when combined with exercise. These beverages also provide antioxidants that reduce oxidative stress, a contributor to fat-related inflammation. Of course, moderation is key. Excessive caffeine can disrupt sleep and increase stress hormones, which could have the opposite effect. Cooking at home more often helps control ingredients and portion sizes. Restaurant meals, especially fast food, tend to be higher in refined carbs, fats, and sodium, all of which promote water retention and fat accumulation. Preparing meals at home allows you to emphasize vegetables, healthy fats, lean proteins, and whole grains in balanced portions. It's also psychologically empowering, reinforcing a sense of control over your own health. Avoiding late-night eating can make a subtle but important difference. Eating large meals close to bedtime interferes with digestion, disrupts circadian rhythms, and promotes glucose intolerance, especially in those already prone to insulin resistance. Limiting food intake at least 2 to 3 hours before sleeping can improve metabolic flexibility and support visceral fat loss. Prioritizing protein helps stabilize blood sugar and reduces cravings. Higher protein diets, especially when protein is spread evenly across meals, support muscle maintenance, increase satiety, and slightly increase the thermic effect of food, meaning more calories are burned during digestion. Lean sources include poultry, fish, legumes, tofu, tempeh, and eggs. Animal protein should be balanced with plenty of plant-based fiber to avoid adverse effects. Getting daily movement, even outside of formal workouts, matters. Sitting for long hours, even if you exercise, has been associated with increased waist circumference. Incorporating walking breaks, using standing desks, or doing gentle stretching during work hours can improve circulation and energy expenditure. Over time, this consistent low-level movement complements exercise and contributes to fat reduction. Keeping track of waist circumference, rather than weight alone, is a smarter marker for visceral fat. A waist measurement over 35 inches for women or 40 inches for men often signals excessive visceral fat, even if BMI is normal. Tracking progress this way helps avoid discouragement if scale weight doesn't change, since body composition can improve even as weight remains stable. Finally, adopting a long-term mindset is perhaps the most important factor. Quick fixes and restrictive diets can backfire, often leading to weight cycling that increases visceral fat over time. Sustainable fat loss takes time, typically weeks to months, but the benefits are substantial and long-lasting. Lower inflammation, improved blood sugar, better heart health, and potentially even reduced risk of cancer and dementia. The aim isn't to chase perfection, but consistency. In summary, visceral fat is a dangerous but modifiable risk factor. With a thoughtful, evidence-based lifestyle approach, one that includes nourishing foods, movement, sleep, stress management, and behavioral awareness, it can not only be reduced but in many cases eliminated altogether. These changes take effort, but they deliver rewards far beyond appearance. They transform the body's internal environment and lay the foundation for a healthier, longer life.